Good morning, respected employers, more particularly small and medium-sized organizational employers, my HR fraternity friends and colleagues, and other functional friends and colleagues. Altogether, I want to mean the entire organization of small and medium-sized business organizations, as also large scale organizations including conglomerates. I am going to share something about today which is known to everybody. Everybody is aware of, concerned of, affected by. Some are getting benefits out of it. Some may be in confusion. Some may not taken it as a necessity. That is HR policy. HR policy is something which is part and parcel of HR process management. Concept of personnel management has gone. HR management has come, including HR development. Now we call it people development as well. Whatever it be, there are certain things, at least 30 to 35 areas are there which are part and parcel of HR operations day in, day out in every organization. Starting from recruitment or talent acquisition to the separation. Across the whole length of this life cycle, HR process has its presence, has its essence, and will continue to be in one form or the other. The organizations who are having the HR policies are getting the benefit of HR policy as a speedier, efficient, and effective HR management, HR development, HR deliveries. It is because if HR processes are not documented, although it is always dynamic, then it is very difficult to maintain the uniformity across the organization. And if an organization does not follow the HR policy or does not create the HR policy or does not craft out the HR policy, whatever it may be, however it may be, then there are possibilities of nepotism, favoritism, uniformity, so on and so forth. Complexities are there, will be there, and will continue to be there. So, HR policy is an essence, however small it is. It does not mean everything is covered in it. It is very extensive area, year on year, time to time. It gets changes in terms of addition, deletion, moderation, updation, so on and so forth, depending on the growth pattern or otherwise of the organization, which includes everything, end-to-end cycle of an employee in the organization. If HR policy is crafted out by every organization, of course, with consensus, with realistic view, and which is effective for implementation, then of course it is going to save huge process time of the HR people to contribute in other areas, gray areas. To my experience, HR is such an area. If somebody works, there are endless areas to work on HR. There are endless areas which organization as conceive, perceive and practice as HR. If no, there is no job of HR. Direction, control, so on and so forth works much more than policy and processes. And as a result, company suffers in very many areas, more particularly in regard to employee satisfaction, employee uniformity, uniform benefits, uniform punishments, uniform treatment, so on and so forth, whatever it contains in the HR policy. That includes salary as well, increment as well, performance management systems as well, and all those are documented in such a way that it continues to be only doing some individualistic or unique changes to implement, to practice, to go ahead with. So it's a time saver for both the top management or the owners of the organizations as also HR fraternities or the people who are dealing with HR or personnel matters in the organization, whoever be. So there is a cost of time. At the same time, employee satisfaction is very necessary for efficiency, effectiveness, and productivity. If employees are dissatisfied in the small or medium-sized organizations, people always carries the fear psychosis. At the same time, they follow some negative values by way of adopting some sort of style which or by which they want to please the employer by becoming yes master or non-respondent or remaining silent or reacting otherwise across the organization. So as a result, internal environment, internal culture, internal perspectives, and internal environment of performance gets affected. So, unhappy employee cannot deliver 100% or even 90% or even 50% in many cases. So, it has to be taken care of, it has to be understood, it has to be taken note of, and it has to be given due heed it is necessary to get. Second is, if the employees are dissatisfied, customers are also affected because employees are half-hearted or quarter-hearted or not feeling ownership of the process in the organization, whatever they are doing. They are doing for the sake of doing, irrespective of what it is going to contribute in the business process, in the top line and bottom line of the organization. So productivity reduces, and that productivity reduction reflects on the customer, and customer dissatisfaction also takes a drive, takes a cue, and takes a trigger from the dissatisfied employees. Next is, if the employees are dissatisfied, employees are not happy, it is all possibility that they must be looking for other options available in the market. And as a result, attrition level or turnover level of the manpower in the organization will continue to increase, every time newcomers are coming and going, coming and going, and all these are costing the company heavily, heavily. I repeat several times. We may not calculate it numerically. It does not come in the balance sheet. But yes, for the sake of catalytic view in the perspective, it is a huge loss to the organization if turnover is high in terms of human or manpower turnover or attrition. Next is, what will be the result? If employees are not contributing, employer or the owner cannot do himself everything. If they think so, I think they should rethink, reanalyze themselves, introspect, and then go ahead with what is needed and why it is needed and what it should be, how it should be done, so that employees are contributors nor value destroyer. If they are not contributors, they must be the value destroyers. They must be doing or must be thinking or must be acting or must be producing some sort of negative result in the organization. And finally, it increases the cost multiple, because it becomes where the attrition level is high, turnover level is high, employees are dissatisfied, all these becomes the cost at the end of the day in terms of idle time, in terms of training time, in terms of grooming time, in terms of less productivity, less efficiency, less delivery, and so on and so forth. So it is my sincere suggestion to all the organizations, whoever is not or whichever is not having HR policy or formulated the HR policy, however it be, according to their size, nature, so on and so forth, then it is always suggestible to go ahead for that and try to see how it can deliver in the process of organizations overall efficiency and effectiveness, productivity, and value adding to the top and bottom line. So in this video, this much is my bullet point for the particularly the organizations who are not having HR policies, to go ahead please and see how you can reap the benefit of the HR policies for now, for near future and future ahead. But of course, HR policy is a dynamic, changeable, moderation is needed, updation is needed over a period of time according to business need, business environment, competitive environment, business size, growth, diversification, so on and so forth. In description, I have given some more detail. Hopefully, my employers, my HR fraternity or the cross-functional fraternity will be convinced what I am trying to convey in this video for understanding and, if possible, to conceptualize and adapt and reap the benefit. Thank you very much.